A bit earlier in the day, Tuscaloosa will be the site as the Vanderbilt Commodores look to get their first win in Tuscaloosa in decades. Clark Lee says, we're not worried about history. We're making our own. That's the way Clark Lee is wired. 5-0 Commodores coming into town. We mentioned upon further review, Vanderbilt maybe with a better chance to win the SEC than a lot of people would realize, but I kind of think you got to get this one to really open that up and make it a reality. Now for Alabama, they are trying to avoid the exact same fate of what they had last year. Danny, first word to you here. What did you see from Alabama that you think is repeatable? What, if you are the Crimson Tide, are you on high alert for as they find themselves again in that precarious position of being coached by Kalen DeBoer and favored by double digits?
I feel best about the pass game with Ty Simpson. We talked about that earlier. It's why I bought up his stock. And I would say the thing I'm most nervous about is Diego Pavia kind of doing similar to what Tommy Castellanos did, kind of having a game where QB run game, big plays, pops a couple, and it's a different style that he plays against. But Diego Pavia's numbers against the better teams passing wise do come down a little bit back to earth. So I think it's similar. I think you want to see him try to keep him in the pocket as much as you can. And I feel like this is a game because Diego Pavia loves doling out punishment as a runner. I would just caution him against doing that in this game. Like, these are a little bit bigger dudes. They're going to probably be looking every chance they can to get some big hits on him. He thrives on that, but I just wonder if you can do that for 4 quarters against Alabama.
Is Bama going to be disciplined at all against a running quarterback? Because under Kalen DeBoer, I think they're 0 for 5. Like, they have not had a single even decent defensive game against an offense that really features a running quarterback. Like, zero. Honestly, that they gave up 16 to USF last year, but if you watched it, that was really just the USF quarterback missing some open guys. Like, he had whatever he wanted with his legs, and they schemed a lot of stuff wide open. I know it was a young secondary, but Vandy dropped 40 on them last year while holding the ball like forever. South Carolina, Bama was very lucky to win that ball game with Sellers running around doing his thing. LSU, pocket passer, Bama killed them, right? Missouri, backup quarterback, Bama killed them. Oklahoma, Jackson Arnold was awful last year. They still found a way to just basically break out all the QB run stuff. Bama couldn't play it. Bama lost by 21. Florida State this year, Bama's defense looks slow and confused. They're 0 for 5, playing a decent defensive game, I think, against mobile quarterbacks. And you could say everybody has struggled against mobile quarterbacks. The deviation ain't this big, guys. I don't know if it's something that Kane Womack can't teach, or that's probably not true. I think he has failed to do a good job so far against mobile quarterbacks. And this Vandy offense is way better than it was last year. Like, they're more physical. They will block you. I have full confidence they can block Alabama. Stowers is a really good tight end. I think Vanderbilt's going to score here.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going back to the meeting last year. I don't think Alabama gave up a ton of big plays to Pavia in the run game, but he just kind of killed them by just on every third down. They needed 6 yards. He'd go get 7 and then keep the drive alive. And it just wore them down as the game went on. And then I think where they really destroyed him was he hit so many shots in the passing game that it was nuts what he was able to do in there. But yeah, that is my concern if I'm an Alabama fan. It's what Bud just went over, our struggles against these kind of offenses. And you look at Vandy's offense has been very good. If you look at all the statistics to start the year, these are 2 of the best offenses in the country going into this game. And we could argue it's the 2 best quarterbacks in the SEC going head to head in this game. For me, the concern is if I'm Vanderbilt, we won this game last year. It was Jalen Milroe. It's Ty Simpson this year. It's a very different quarterback. It's a very different offense. They have very good receivers. And my thing with Vandy so far this year is they haven't been bad defensively against the pass, but they haven't been great. So can Alabama exploit that where they might not be as excellent as coverage as they need to be in this matchup compared to last year where you had a quarterback who was kind of hit or miss. It was just deep shot after deep shot, and you hope you hit enough of them. Alabama doesn't have to operate that way. So I think that is going to be a concern if I'm Vandy and something I need to figure out and be able to keep these guys in front of us, be able to stick on them. And then I think the other big thing in this game will be the red zone. because both of these defenses have stunk in the red zone. Neither, like they have both Alabama and Vanderbilt have allowed a touchdown on every goal-to-go situation they've been in. Does anybody get a stop? Can anybody force a field goal? Because I do think this will, the whole chat's been chanting over for like the last 5-10 minutes. I do think this will be a higher scoring game. And I do think just holding somebody to a field goal might end up proving to be the difference. And another spot, like Alabama has not turned the ball over this year. Vanderbilt's defense is 7th in the nation in turnover rate. Can Vandy force Alabama into making the mistakes that they haven't yet? And if they do, can they actually take advantage of it? Because Vanderbilt's turnover margin of +5 is one of the better ones in the country, but they're only getting 2 points per game in turnover margin, which ranks 51st, which isn't bad. But you'd hope that they'd be able to take more of an advantage of the turnovers that they forced. To this point, they haven't. So that's going to be huge. So I think red zone and taking care of the football in what I expect to be kind of a back and forth affair will be huge.
Do you take anything from the fact that Alabama gave up, 220 some odd yards on the ground to Georgia? Now, that wasn't the quarterback run game, so it doesn't perfectly fit that same narrative, but this is a Vanderbilt offense that runs the ball about 10 less times per game than Georgia does on average so far this year and has done it more efficiently. I mean, we can talk about the quarterback run game, but can Vanderbilt get out there and run on this team in the same way that a bigger, stronger, can Vanderbilt have as much success in the way that Georgia did? Not the same style to get there, but at least the same end results.
I think so. I think if you look at Vanderbilt's offensive line, they are much better in the run game than they are in pass protection. So I think for Vandy, it will be key to obviously stay in a game state to where they can lean on their run game, because I do think they could do so effectively.
Good. Anything else? Yeah, go ahead.
Vandy looks much improved on offense to me. Defensively, they're not bad, but remember, like Vandy has played one offense with a pulse, right? South Carolina, and that's not a great South Carolina offense. And before Sellers got hurt in that game, he was 6 of 7 for 94 yards. So it's not like they were really shutting him down. They shut down the South Carolina run game, but welcome to the club. Everybody does. I think Vandy may need to score 40 to win this, or hold the ball for 36 minutes type thing where, you're scoring touchdowns on, like half of your drives or more than half of your drives. Because I think Bama will score on them. Maybe a lot.
Kalen DeBoer says he's not a superstitious man. He's not going to believe in the power of the black hoodie. Alabama fans love black hoodie DeBoer.
They love the pattern now because it was, I can't believe he's wearing a hoodie at first. Now they love it. Now it's back.
No, not the crimson hoodie. It's
right.
The black hoodie, is the one that is everyone seems to be drawn to right now. Okay.
Another thing I think you need to last year, Alabama beat Georgia, then lost to Vandy the next week. Alabama just beat Georgia. Now they're facing Vandy again. And I think one of the things, and we talked about it earlier in the week, whether it was Monday or the reaction show, Alabama under Kanell and DeBoer, like the letdown situation, can they stay up for this game? Like, does it help Alabama that Vandy's actually undefeated and ranked in the top 20? Does that give them, like, the players in that locker room are like, we can't take this team for granted, especially based on what happened last year? So I think that's an important factor. I think this is a good test for where this program's culture is as far as being able to show up every Saturday and treat everybody the same.
I don't know if it's the number beside their name. I think it's the fact that they beat you last year, and that, Pavia talks just absolute cash trash, right? And he's on the Netflix special, and he's all over the place. Like, I guarantee you Bama's players know who this guy is.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It is the memories of getting field stormed, out of Nashville last year.